The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. We are live in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. On Facebook, we are streaming live and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Radio Wa in Wa, ATL in Cape Coast, KTU Radio, Koforidua, Radio Max Takrade, Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, A1 and Dreams FM in Bolgatanga. Jubilee Radio is in Keta. You can go digital on Spotify and the MindJoy online app. And coming up, after weeks of reeling under the impact of power outage in Yilo and Manyakrobo municipalities, health facilities can now heave a sigh of relief as the ECG expresses willingness to assist them with fuel to power their plants.
And I'm naming Crawford Kasai no pay say that they have the necessary preparations. Diesel.
We'll take you live to the community. Also, special prosecutor not backing down in its quest to investigate and prosecute officials complicit in tax waiver granted by custom officials despite a strong pushback.
They are free, they are liable, that's why they pay. And then special prosecutor is now going on to do the wider investigations of the whole system from 2017 to 2021.
We have details and the views of a private legal practitioner. Plus, Commissioner of Custom denies allegations of inciting officers to strike over stalled promotions.
If I see that there is injustice, I'll talk about it. I hate dishonesty. I hate hypocrisy. And I say things in people's presence. I don't hide. I'm not a coward. I will never be one.
We'll hear from him. Also, former Deputy General Secretary of the NPP says the call for reshuffle is legitimate as he urges President Akufo-Addo to listen to the concerns of the members.
Ministers, deputy ministers, MCs, CEOs who hold their positions by virtue of presidential appointment. I'll plead with the president to consider the sentiments of the foot soldiers.
A former chief of staff and a governance expert are warning the NPP may not break the eight if the president continues to adapt a non-responsive posture to the call.
If the president is serious and is interested in getting his party to break the eight, then maybe he should be looking at what I call earlier as political efficacy. In other words, being responsive to the popular cry of people for the change.
And coming up in sports.
Well, we'll still be talking about the fallout of the Commonwealth Games, and Ghana long jump queen Deborah Aqua opens up on the mental challenges she faced at the just ended Commonwealth Games, where she became the first Ghanaian woman to win a medal in the event. Also up in the midday news, Ghana Journalists Association takes on Ada Traditional Council for what it describes as a subversion of press freedom.
It is an affront to press freedom as guaranteed in Article 21. With all due respect, the Ada Traditional Council does not have the right or powers to impose such restrictions on Real Ada and its staff.
And later in showbiz, how can Ghanaian music make global waves?
We cannot say that I'm a dancehall artist, of which we know that dancehall is coming from Jamaica. We have something here that we need to embark upon and sell it.
We'll hear from legendary high-life musician J.D. Ambule. All these and more here in this half-hour package. Please stay with us. Hello again, thanks for choosing us. This is the home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. I am Ernest. The details now. John uses this afternoon learning the Office of Special Prosecutor will go ahead with a full-scale probe into tax waivers granted the Customs Division by the Customs Division of the GRA to various companies. This includes La Bianca Company Limited, owned by a member of Ghana's Council of State. This probe is geared at a possible prosecution, with a special prosecutor considering partnering other key investigative agencies. This move comes in the wake of a strong pushback from the Customs Division.
But if you read it very well, there's nothing in it. It's hollow. It's actuated by malice. And those who are behind it, they know themselves. They know themselves. They've tried it several times. It is not working, and it won't work. I'm ready for any prosecution. That's what he must do. Not to say that they should do further investigations up to 2017.
That's Commissioner General of Customs, Colonel Kojo Damwa retired, speaking there on the special prosecutor's move. My colleague Joseph Akable joins me in the studio with more on this. Joseph, what more have you picked up about the move of the special prosecutor?
And so the special prosecutor had already indicated in his investigative report that he intends to undertake a review of how such waivers were granted from July 2017 to December 2021. The SP, despite the pushback so far, intends to follow through with this pledge. Our understanding is that he is considering seeking the assistance of key agencies like the National Investigation Bureau and the Economic and Organized Crime Office. Even if he doesn't obtain such assistance, the decision is that he's going to follow through with that particular probe. And the aim is to ensure that he eventually prosecutes officials who he says may have played various roles in the award of such waivers contrary to law.
Which is what he's been challenged to do. Joseph, thank you very much. But we can now hear from a private legal practitioner, Martin Pebu, who argues that the fact clearly shows that the company did not deserve the waiver. He also condemns the reaction of the custom boss.
They agreed, they are liable, that's why they paid. And so now you can't go back that, oh, no, it's not true. Kenneth Damwa was interviewed. He distanced himself, trying to say the Eduche didn't do the right thing. But he forgot that he is ultimately responsible. So that meaning that worst case scenario, Kenneth Damwa, wasn't watching. He was sleeping on the job, that his deputy was doing illegal things. So right. Kenneth Damwa can't take himself out of this case. It's just too late in the day. So the ad hominem arguments that special prosecutor is a small boy and all that, it's neither here nor there. Okay, he should just accept. Really, I don't see the grounds for the attack. You see, the man is looked at it and said, look, I've taken the money. The money is being paid. And then special prosecutor is now going on to do the wider investigations of the whole system from 2017 to 2021.
Mr. Pebu believes the Commissioner General must apologize for the personal attacks on the special prosecutor.
The report having indicted him is to be expected that he'll be angry, he'll be disappointed. Yes, emotions. We can't run away from our emotions in such matters. But now that it's been 2 days, yesterday and today, I'm sure the right thing he has to do is to come out and then apologize. Because he himself, what is his age? Just a few months ago, wearing this, it's not rumors, it's even news. And he was about to be taken off. Didn't he have to go and lobby? People were up in arms that he should go. People were up in arms at the Customs Division that he should go. Didn't he have to lobby? Wasn't he also overraged?
You had a private legal practitioner, Martin Pebu. In a related development, Commissioner of Customs, Colonel Retired Kojo Damwa, has denied allegations of inciting officers to embark on a strike in demand for delayed promotions. Now, the paramilitary organization, which belongs to the operational division of the Ghana Revenue Authority in July, embarked on a sit-down strike. The commissioner says though his office is fighting for the welfare of his officers, strike is not an option for him. The Naojima was at a Customs Division Management Retreat in Kumasi and now reports.
The sit-down strike, which lasted hours, affected operations at the country's entry points. The Kotoka International Airport and its cargo terminal were grounded to a halt due to the strike. According to the Commissioner of Customs, Colonel Retired Kojo Damwa, there is evidence showing some officers are deemed for promotion but have been denied.
Why on earth a military officer, Commissioner Customs, inciting customs officers to go on strike? That will be the last thing I will do, but I will fight for their rights. That is my duty to do as the Commissioner of Customs. If I see that there is injustice, I'll talk about it. And I'll say it openly and everywhere. I don't hide behind people. I say it in your presence, and you know it. When the board had the first meeting and had us, and they asked us, I said it. I want open, frank, and sincere discussions. I hate dishonesty. I hate hypocrisy, and I said it. They said I should talk myself. I've been trained to say ABC, accuracy, brevity, and clarity. That's what I said. And I mean it. And I say things in people's presence. I don't hide. I'm not a coward. I will never be one. So I'll say it in your presence. So if my officers are denied promotion and I say it, and I give evidence to show why they should be given promotion, and then it happens that the staff association come up with things and they coincide with my aspirations and what I had demanded, does it mean that I am inciting them to go on strike? I will never do that. And I had a debate with them, and I appeal to officers, you don't do that. We are part of the national security architecture. We provide essential services, and for that reason, we cannot and should not go on strike. So where did I talk to any officer who can say that during that period I called him or said it. I never did. I'm disciplined. I know my work. I won't do that.
Colonel Damwa reveals after taking over office in 2019, there have been several attempts to discredit his personality. He reiterated his readiness to stand trial over alleged wrongdoings.
If you have been following the media, there have been several publications saying that Colonel Damwa is good. The last one said Colonel Damwa under siege right from October 2019. These publications have been going. They said I have attained the age of 60 years. I should go. Then the president gave me a contract for 3 years. When the 3 years came and it was not being renewed, you might have heard party people even were appealing to His Excellency the President to give me another contract. The law permits His Excellency the President to give 2 to 1.
And you heard there a report filed by Nana Yao Jima. Let's now turn our attention to the Ghana Journalists Association. It is an affront to press freedom. That's the position of the GJA on the action of the Adan Traditional Council to bar Radio Adan from covering the just ended Asafo-Tufiami. We'll hear from the GJA shortly, which has been condemning the action at a news conference. But first, let's listen to the chairman of the organizing committee of the festival, Nene Obiche, who has been defending the action of the committee.
For instance, at the demonstration that was held, they said, we will not call you Nene Akwaku Nene Chief, right? And that's the paramount chief. We will call you Akwaku. Then they say, oh, who that him? Yeah, why you call? Who that him? Oh, can you do this to your paramount chief? Even if you do it to us, a lesser chief. But the paramount chief of all. And the kind of things that they say, I mean, unprintable words, I cannot say the same things to you. It means that I'm saying it against him. So some of the things that they say, got them into this trouble. As the chairman of the planning committee, I didn't speak. After the deliberations, I asked them, what does it mean? What should I do with them? And the decision was what is carried in the letter.
What do you say to those who say this decision is an affront to press freedom?
Okay, so press freedom says that we should insult our chiefs. If you have an issue to talk about, you can talk about it without insulting. If you feel so strongly about an issue, it's not a problem that you must say it. But if you use the language that is unrefined about your chiefs, what do you expect to happen?
That is Nene Obiche, the chairman of the Adan Festival Organizing Committee. We can now listen to President of the GJA, Albert Jumfo, who says the Adan Traditional Council has undermined the law while exposing journalists to possible attacks.
There is an affront to press freedom as guaranteed in Article 21, 1A and F of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and Article 19 of the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. With all due respect, the Adan Traditional Council does not have the right or powers to impose such restrictions on Radio Adan and its staff. We also consider the barring of the 3 reporters of Radio Adan from wearing the paraphernalia of the radio station, and particularly the mention of their names, a threat to their lives and that of their family. We should be mindful of how such public disclosure of names of journalists has led to the killing of such journalists, and we should refrain from such actions.
Michael Papani actually covered this news conference for us, and he joins us on the line. Michael, beyond the issue of condemnation, what more has the GJA been saying, and what issues did they address beyond this?
Yeah, so they raised the issue of the Traditional Council deciding to lodge a formal complaint at the National Media Commission. I was also mandated by law to become an independent arbiter in such situations. Now, the DGA recommended that move, but again says that the Traditional Council should have exhausted all other avenues, especially dialogue, to try to resolve it before going there. So it said that he had violated that particular avenue that gave them the right to file the complaint. So they would want to withdraw it and again resort to dialogue.
Michael, thank you very much for bringing us up to speed on that news conference. Now, Joy News is this afternoon learning of the move by the ECG to provide electricity to the people of Ada, especially the health facilities there in Yilo and Manyakrobo, who have been reeling from the impact of the community-wide cut in electricity for weeks now. The ECG has resolved the only way electricity will be restored to the community is when they allow for the installation of prepaid meters. Managing Director of the ECG, Samuel Mahama, says his office is ready to provide fuel to power their plants.
I
have spoken to my people. The hospital should come forward. Let's have a chat to see how we can resource them with diesel.
The necessary preparations.
For more gen sets.
Their main issue is how much they are spending on diesel. You cannot be using power and not want to pay. This is not wickedness. We have to be honest. But we need to admit that we came to govern and not to swindle the country, else we will run into debts in the region of 500 million.
By next year and next 2 years, can do 500 million.
Samuel Mahama is the ECG boss, and Joy News is live on the ground. We'll be bringing you updates in our subsequent bulletins. But away from that, the call for President Akufo-Addo to reshuffle his appointees is ringing high and wide despite the unresponsive posture adopted by President Akufo-Addo. This afternoon, a former Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Nana Obri-Boahin, says there's legitimacy in the demand, and he's called on the President to listen to the concerns of the party. Responding to the call during a radio interview in Tamale, President Akufo-Addo said his ministers have performed well and therefore do not need to be reshuffled.
Several of the people who were responsible for assisting me to steer the country out of the difficulties that we inherited are still in place. And many of them, for me, have done an outstanding work. Their output has been considerable, and that's what I look at. With the issue about reshuffle or the performance of ministers, it isn't as if it is something that every now and then my mind comes to. It's a daily preoccupation for me. I'm required on a daily basis to ask myself whether the output of particular ministers is up to the mark. I am the final authority, and if they're not up to the mark, I'm required to act. But if the output measures the expectations, then I don't have any strong reasons to heed the call.
But a former Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Nana Obri-Boahin, says there's a push within the party for a reshuffle.
It should go down to MCs, DCs, because I can tell you authoritatively that the NPP lost in about 20 to 30 constituencies as a result of internal bickering between DCEs and constituency executives again versus MPs. You can reshuffle the DCs or the MCs. Well, there's nothing wrong about the comments by the president. But my suggestion is that, Mr. President, well spoken, but I will humbly plead with you to also listen to some of members of our party.
That is former Deputy General Secretary Nana Obri-Boahin, and some more people have been joining in the conversation. We can now hear from a former Chief of Staff, Kojo, who says the President must consult on the increasing costs for a ministerial reshuffle. According to him, there may be some important reasons aside the economic cut-down or the economic challenges which the government is currently faced with.
Don't forget that you are the President who have been given the executive power to rule the country. Success or failure is on you, not on any minister. They don't talk of health minister's government. They talk of Kufuor's government. So the success or failure is on you. And therefore, you must be conscious of what is happening within your government and take necessary action to make sure that you succeed.
To what extent does the general socio-economic circumstance of the people influence that decision?
Of course, you have voted to do that. And therefore, that must be your concern. If the people are not happy, if there are difficulties in the country, it's you. And therefore, that must be the most important thing in determining who should work, who should stay, and who shouldn't stay.
Chief Executive of the John Kufuor Foundation, Professor Bafo Achimanjia, says the extensive powers bestowed on the president by the Constitution makes him unresponsive to the demands of the citizenry.
But in the present
which within political science they call political efficacy. That refers to the responsiveness of leadership or government to the demand, which within political science they call political efficacy. That refers to the responsiveness of leadership or government to the demand, which within political science they call political efficacy. That refers to the responsiveness of leadership or government to the demand, which within political science they call political efficacy. That refers to the responsiveness of leadership or government to the demand, which within political science they call political efficacy. That refers to the responsiveness of leadership or government to the demand, which within political science they call political efficacy. That refers to the responsiveness of leadership or government to the demand, which within political science they call political efficacy. That refers to the responsiveness of leadership or government to the demand, which within political science they call political efficacy.
It will not be perfectly complete that all the ministers are performing at their best.
Oh, if the government says so, if the president says so, then it's a very big lie. Because you can see that everything is turned upside down in the country. They have to look for better people that can manage the country well, or they can do the job. All the ministers, because they are not doing well.
You don't think there's one or two of them that are doing well?
No. All of them have to be changed. If the president can't do that, then we shall wait for the election day.
The president should have a reshuffle of the ministers and change some.
I totally disagree with the president, His Excellency. I would like to make changes.
Seriously speaking, I would prefer if they would change all the ministers, because I've not seen any improvement. I've not seen any change in this country, so I would prefer we change everything.
Look at great ministers. We have some ministers, even they are paying, they do not even work. It's about time the president have to sit down and look smart. Because we have some people, they are sitting over there, they are taking pay, but they are not doing the work. Especially a Greek minister. They are sitting, we are weeping. Do reshuffle fast, limit the ministers.
Some of your thoughts there on the issue of reshuffling of ministers. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Still to come, some students in Ghana are now employing ultra-violent light to outwit school authorities and cheat in examinations.
They have a pen that can write, so the naked eye cannot see the writing. When it comes to the exam hall, they will use a UV pen, which will then reveal the writing on their skin or somewhere.
And later in showbiz, we'll hear from legendary high-life musician J.D. Blay Ambile on how Ghana music can make global waves.
We cannot say that I'm a dancehall artist, of which we know that dancehall is coming from Jamaica. We have something here that we need to embark upon and sell.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Ernest. Manu. Time now for sports, and Razak Musbao is here. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ernest. Deborah Aqua, who won bronze in the women's long jump event, has explained the mental difficulties she had to overcome before her attempt, which saw her set a new personal record with a leap of 6.94 meters. Aqua, who is the national record holder in the event, received a UK visa only 48 hours before her event and was on the back of nursing an injury.
I had an injury on my Achilles, so going there to jump, I had this mentality. Like my coach always, it was something that we talk about. We always discuss that whenever you're competing, and then that you feel pain or whatsoever, put away the pain and then think about the moment. So at that moment, I forgot about the pain, even though it was really hurting. And then I had thoughts about what we've been working about, what we've been working on, and then I just had to execute. So that's the most important thing. Just go out there and then execute. And I know we had a lot of good athletes who were also there. And I know that my coach, something that he also to talk about is that on the very day of the competition, it's not about who is the best, it's about who is ready. So at that very moment I was like, okay, Deborah, this is the day, let's go.
So that's Deborah Aqua speaking there. And as the Black Princesses will be without the services of Captain Evelyn Bedu in their opener of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup later today.
Let's see how that affects the performance of the team. Thank you very much, Razak Musbal, for bringing us sports. Time now for our Drive Safe campaign.
Safe driving saves lives. Drive safe.
And she was the only survivor in an accident that claimed 14 lives on the Elmina Commander Junction Road. A week after the accident, Judith Barnes, a mother of two and a teacher in a private school in Takrady, says her two children cannot come to terms with what has befallen her. Kojo visited her at the hospital where she gave an account of that tragic incident.
Yeah, now we're going to Takrady. I saw they were burning some bush. We were passing through the smoke. It was a heavy smoke. I was sitting right behind the driver. All I saw was I was in the hospital, so people surrounded me. When I was conscious, then I heard we were 14 dead. I was the only survivor. It has not been easy. Being in an accident is different from being a normal person.
Judith's mother, Mercy Abua, is distraught.
In fact, I was not on myself at that moment. I couldn't stand it.
Her teary eyes tell how devastated the impact of the accident has been on her family.
The senior one is a boy, and he is now coming to write his final year exams at SS3. Yes, and it has affected him a lot because when he called me, all what he would say is, "Grandma, I can't even learn. I'm thinking of mommy, so I can't even learn. When I take the book, I don't know where to start from." And all what I would say to him is that, "Junior, pray."
Richard Kojo filed that report. Now, over the years, the skin or clothes have been used by many students to aid in cheating during examinations. In addition to these, most invigilators are aware of the use of calculators, mobile phones, and watches to cheat. However, a study by researchers at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has uncovered one which eludes the invigilators, that is, ultraviolet light. So how does this really work? Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has more.
The rise in academic cheating indicates that students are finding innovative techniques to cheat during examinations. This situation has left many invigilators and academic stakeholders wondering how students manage to cheat in exams. The study, published in the journal Educational Research International, sought to explore the techniques used by students during examinations. Dr. John Bullard-Foucault of the Department of Sociology and Social Work is the lead researcher.
So the students are coming up with interesting techniques, including the use of UV lights. So sometimes they have a pen that can write, so the naked eye cannot see the writing, but you write on his index number or his star. When it comes to the exam hall, we say star work, they will use a UV pen, which will then reveal the writing on their skin or somewhere. Then they will use that to do what? To inform their answers. So they are using different technologies to enhance the way they cheat. But then the universities too, we are trying to catch up with how students are using technologies so that we can also ensure the integrity of the examinations that we conduct.
Kwesi Deborah filed that report for Joy News. Ghanaian musicians have for many years been pushing to have their songs penetrate the global space. Legendary high-life musician Chedibule Ambule, who has for years been touring the world with his music, has some ideas on how we can do that.
Every country has its music. You go to South America, they have their form of it. You go to America, they have it. When you come to Ghana, heritage-wise, we have our own. This is what we need to sell people outside, because we cannot say that I'm a dancehall artist, of which we know that dancehall is coming from Jamaica. We have something here that we need to embark upon it and sell it, because when they come to listen to you playing, First and foremost, they want to find out what country that you came from, and they can identify through the music that you play.
Rich Ghanaian music ending the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. Many thanks for your company throughout the week. I am Ernest. Manu. From me and the rest of the team, enjoy your weekend. Dr. Mensa Otabil is next on your radio with Living Word.